vehicles that are targets of kamikaze drones, destroying Russian infantry carrier vehicles by airstrikes, Russian soldiers pursued by Ukrainian FPV drones, traps hidden on the roads, Stay tuned for more. May 28th, 2025. Operating as part of the 53rd Separate Mechanized Brigade, the Signum unit discovered the launch position of Russian UAVs and the location of Russian soldiers. After a while, the drone flies through the trees and encounters a Russian soldier who apparently didn't even notice the drone wasn't theirs. After the Russian soldier is neutralized outside, a second drone blows up the bunker. May 26, 2025. The 3rd Operational Brigade spotted a Russian vehicle near the village of Novotroitske in the Donetsk region. After tracking the vehicle, the location of other Russian vehicles was revealed. Ukrainian forces launched an attack on the hangar with fiber optic guided FPV drones. 2 Russian vehicles used to transport infantry to defense forces positions were destroyed. Russian forces increased their military power in the Zaporizhzhia region. The Ukrainian 3rd Assault Brigade in the region fell into an ambush by Russian soldiers. Russia's military offensive is so intense that Ukrainian soldiers have no choice but to gradually withdraw. However, since Ukrainian soldiers are also under mortar fire, they are having a hard time withdrawing. May 25th, 2025. Russian troops launched an assault on Ukrainian positions early in the day. Russian paratroopers hoped to penetrate Ukrainian positions, but drones and artillery quickly stopped the assault. Russian soldiers, arriving in armored vehicles and numerous motorcycles, were not even aware that they were being watched. You can support us by liking and commenting on the video. Complete chaos begins in the region. The Russian assault unit, consisting of approximately 20 people, begins to disperse as Ukrainian forces attack. First, vehicles are hit. Then, they start chasing the soldiers who are running away. A soldier who fled to the forest to take shelter is targeted by Ukrainian FPV drones. In a few hours, all Russian soldiers and vehicles are completely repelled from the area. A BMD, a Tiger armored vehicle, and 6 assault units on motorcycles were destroyed. Clashes continue in the city. Ukrainian soldiers are fighting with Russian soldiers in the building opposite. Ukrainian soldiers hit the building with an RPG and cause great damage. A mistake made by unaware Russian soldiers causes them great losses. 3 Russian soldiers who entered the defense area of Ukrainian soldiers are shot by artillery fire from the Ukrainian 128th Mechanized Brigade. It seems impossible for them to survive the artillery attack. The entire position is being hit repeatedly by artillery with high-impact shells. May 15th, 2025. Reconnaissance UAVs of the 30th Mechanized Brigade detected a concentration of Russian infantry. After monitoring the movements of Russian troops for a while, Ukrainian forces launched an attack when they were all gathered. First, an intense attack began on the Russian infantry with howitzers. Although the Russian soldiers hid in the trees due to the devastating attack, this was of little use. Countless artillery shells hit the Russian positions, causing dozens of casualties to the Russian troops. After the artillery bombardment, FPV drones are launched after the Russian infantry. Although the Russian soldiers start to scatter and escape, they all become targets one by one. The continuous Ukrainian pressure is cornering the Russian soldiers, which are almost the size of a company. March 28, 2025. The 101st Guards Brigade of the General Staff of Ukraine detected the Russian infantry concentration area in the city of Chasiv Yar, Donetsk region, with the help of UAVs. In the city, which was destroyed and full of ruins, Russian soldiers were seen building well-camouflaged underground shelters for themselves. Ukrainian forces took action for a direct attack with drones. After the Russian soldiers gathered, the Ukrainian soldiers first dropped a bomb with a drone at the entrance of the shelter. Then, they detonated it by inserting an FPV kamikaze drone through the entrance of the shelter. Russian soldiers panic and start to leave the shelter and flee when the attack begins. But every time they flee, a new attack comes. Continuous repeated escapes and attacks come one after another. There is no way to escape the drones. They are constantly being followed. Every building they enter is immediately blown up. The last ruin they enter is completely neutralized. An ammunition crate dropped by parachute among the trees. Ukraine uses a drone to drop a special incendiary explosive to use the ammunition. Within seconds, the ammunition sent for the Russian soldiers is completely destroyed by fire. The 102nd Assault Brigade launched a very risky attack on Russian positions. This assault operation, consisting of 4 armored vehicles, 1 tank, and 30 soldiers, took place unexpectedly. The operation began with the tank first firing on Russian positions. The armored vehicles managed to bring down Ukrainian infantry at the closest point to the Russian positions. The terrain is completely covered in pits. Ukrainian artillery also provides support from behind. The infantry also comes into play when the armored vehicles fire on the positions where the Russian soldiers are located. The Ukrainian tank that will deal the heaviest blow to the Russian positions is approaching a position closer to the positions. The Russian soldiers are being shot at so hard that they cannot even counterattack in the trenches. Mortars, FPV drones, infantry, armored vehicles continue to fire non-stop. But in this entire offensive operation, the tank is the one that causes the most losses to the Russian soldiers. It continues to attack the Russian positions for minutes. The fact that the Russian soldiers do not have a weapon that can stop the tank makes the situation difficult for them. Finally, the surviving Russian soldiers start to leave their positions and run for their lives. But this escape will not last long as they are being monitored by drones in this open and flat terrain. 4 Ukrainian soldiers lost their lives in the operation, while 15 Russian soldiers lost their lives in the clashes. The presence of Russian soldiers in the positions was completely repelled. Ukrainian forces launched a precise drone strike targeting Russian positions along the front line. Using advanced unmanned aerial vehicles, the Ukrainian military identified and hit a temporary Russian supply point with pinpoint accuracy. The high-resolution footage shows multiple direct hits on ammunition storage and vehicle concentrations, causing significant damage and disruption. This operation once again highlights Ukraine's growing dominance in aerial reconnaissance and modern drone warfare. This footage is a powerful reminder of how technology is reshaping the modern battlefield. With each operation, Ukrainian forces continue to adapt and strike with increasing precision. Stay tuned for more real-time updates from the front line.